Hello everyone, my name is Harish and we are continuing to learn Kubernetes on Google Kubernetes engine on Google Cloud Platform. So this is the continuation of previous two videos, and in first video we looked around and saw what components Kubernetes provide and how it can help you create your containers or pods, and then we saw what kind of networking services it has and how you can expose your pods to external world. And until then, in the second video we created a cluster on Google Kubernetes engine using Google console, this web console, and then we deployed Nginx pod on our cluster which we created, this standard cluster 1 which I named, and we saw how we can deploy any pods on our cluster using console. So today what we are going to do, instead of using console for deploying pods, we are going to use manifest files, and that contains some configuration required for deployment, and we are going to deploy those using Cloud Shell, or you can use your own terminal by using gcloud connection to it. So I am going to use Cloud Shell, and if you want you can follow along, or if you just want to watch, just let's start doing it then. So the first thing what we have to do, let's activate Cloud Shell. So I'm going to click on this icon here. So it's going to create a Cloud Shell machine for me, and let me just increase the font size, so I think it should be good. So before that, I want to show you some commands like gcloud commands which you can fire to check your account and what credentials you are using. So one command which is very useful is gcloud auth list. So if you do that, it's going to ask you to authorize, and then it's going to show you what account you are using. So I am using Qwiklabs account because it's easier to use it rather than creating my own. So with this, and then you can also see config list, gcloud config list, and then project. So it's going to show you what project you are using, so your project ID, and we are going to set some variables. So because these environment variables will be used in a lot of commands, so rather than typing them every time, I am just going to export some variables here. So export my zone. So I'm going to set my zone to US Central 1A, just because I have created my cluster there, so I'm just setting that same zone. And then I'm going to also export my cluster name, and my cluster name is standard cluster 1. So once you are done with that, so let's start looking into our deployments. So I have actually created few files which I am going to use today. So to deploy our manifest, so let's first look at our deployment YAML file, and then I will talk about it, what exactly it's doing. So let's do cat nginx deployment.yaml, and let's see what I have written here, so that it's so what it is. This is very simple manifest file for creating a deployment. So this kind here is telling what kind of manifest it is. So you can have deployment, you can have services, you can have ingress, a lot of things you can create using manifest. So in our first video, we saw that any manifest file, there are some mandatory things which you have to have, like API version. So it's saying apps v1 and the kind, and then some metadata regarding this object or this deployment. First, the name. So this is the name which you will be able to see once we do this deployment, and then you will be able to see this name. If you do kubectl get deployment, it's going to show you this name, and this is the name which we will be using to attach or find it to our service. So then there is labels. I have created one label, app nginx, and then I am telling how many replicas I want. So in spec section of this manifest, I'm the YAML file, I'm telling 3 replica, please create 3 replicas, and other match labels, app nginx, and then the template, and also the image name nginx 1.7.9. so it's going to check in Google container registry and check for this image name, and from there it's going to get this image. So because this image is provided by Google, I do not have to add the project name or the project path. But if you are using your own image, which you custom image, then you will have to add gcr.io or whichever the container registry you have posted, then slash your project ID, and then slash the image name. And we are going to do that in future. So if you want to try it now, you can try, but otherwise in future we are going to do it together. So if you want, you can hold on. So now we are going to deploy this deployment. So the command for that, I'm going to use kubectl. So it's kubectl apply, so which is telling to apply our manifest, and then we are going to tell which file to apply. And as we saw, it's nginx deployment.yaml, and I'm going to hit enter. So when I try to apply my deployment, I forgot most important step, that I have to connect my kubectl to my cluster. And to do that, we have to fire a command called for getting our credentials from the cluster. So the command is gcloud container cluster get credential, and then cluster name. And also you will have to set the zone here. So let's set that as well, and our zone is my zone, the variable which we set. So and then let's fire this command. So it's going to get the information from our cluster, and now our kubectl is connected to our cluster. And if I do kubectl get deployments, so currently it's going to show us what is being deployed there. So currently nothing is deployed, and it's saying no resources found in the default space. And that is okay, because we do not have anything deployed. And now I'm going to do kubectl apply nginx deployment, and then it's going to deploy that. So now if I see again the same get deployments, now it's deployed, and currently it's has not started or any deployment yet. So my replica set is still not created, so it's still creating it. So if we check it again, maybe it will start deploying things. So now all of them are available. So 3 of 3 means we requested 3, they were not created yet, but after a while Kubernetes checked the state of our cluster, and the state which we defined, we wanted 3 but there were not 3, so it created those 3 pods, and it created them all on the nodes. So you can do a similar thing, you can do kubectl get pods as well. So you will get this information, and now here it's showing 1 of 1 is ready. So it's the same like 3 pods, 3 nodes, again 3 pods which we requested. So these are the pods which it created, and it's running here. And you can do kubectl get nodes. Made a mistake. So the same information. So we have two nodes running, that is the two nodes which we created, and then 3 pods of Nginx running on them. So we can now go to our workloads and see the same information which we were seeing here from kubectl. And if I go into Nginx deployment, and from here you will be able to see all the history and information, and you can see the YAML file which we applied. So this is the YAML file which we sent, and then based on that Kubernetes or the GKE cluster created our pods. And you can do some actions here. You can scale them up and down, and you can apply rolling updates and all this information. So we can do, let's try to scale them. And if I do 1 from here, it's going to decrease. So it's saying like the work is started now. So if I go and check deployments again, so now as you see where it has scaled it down. So there you can do both, like scale is a relative term here. So if you have 3 and you give 1, it will scale down. If you have 3 and then if you give 5, it will scale them up. So scale up or scale down. And we can do the same thing from our console as well. So the command that for scaling up and down is similar. So we are going to do kubectl scale, and then we will type replicas equal to 3, and because currently it's 1, so we are going to take it back again, and deployment, and the name of the deployment, and the name of the deployment is Nginx deployment. If I add this command, and if I go and check the deployments again, so it's back to 3 again. So you can do the same thing from command CLI or from console from the UI as well. So there are, let's try a few more things. So we are going to trigger a deployment rollout and deployment rollback. So what it means is we are going to deploy a newer version of Nginx on all our deployment. So as a next step, what we are going to do, we are going to change the image or the version of Nginx which we have deployed. So that is like deployment rollout or deployment rollback. We are going to see how to do that. So for that, the command is kubectl set image, and deployment dot v1 dot apps slash nginx deployment. So here this deployment.v1.apps is the folder where we have information available, and then this is the target deployment, and then nginx colon 1.9.1 hyphen record. What it will do, it will update the Nginx version which we have deployed to 1.9.1. So the image is updated, and to check the status of update, there you can fire this command, that is rollout status. So kubectl rollout status deployment v1.apps and nginx deployment, and you can see the deployment like it's waiting for rollout to finish. 2 out of 3 new replicas have been updated and pending termination. So it's so basically what it did, it is going to remove the old replica set and it's going to create new replica set, and then it is going to terminate that old replica set completely. So this is what happened when you do the rollout. Now if I do kubectl get deployments, so they are available and up and running. So That's how we can do rollout of new changes to our pods. And if you want to check the history, you can do kubectl rollout history deployment, and deployment is the object name, and then object type, and then I'm going to give nginx deployment. This is the deployment name, and then it's going to get you the history. So if you remember, we fired this command to update, so it is going to, it's telling that, so this was the revision 1, which nothing happened, no change, because it was the first time, and then this is the second change which we applied, and you can check that from the history. Now if you want, if you notice some error or issue happened, then you want to roll back things also, right? So to do that, you can do kubectl rollout undo deployments nginx, and that's the name of the deployment. So with this, it's going to trigger a rollback. So it's rolled back now, and if I do again get deployments, and then also if you want to check rollout history, rollout status, history, where is it? Here. So now again the revision 2 and the 3, so it's it rolled it back. Now we have new revision available, but it is the previous version. And if you want to check revision history for a particular revision, you can give -- revision here, and then check the history about that also. So it's going to tell you what is happened and what was applied. So here it is nginx 1.7.9. this was the first time when we deployed, and then we updated it to 1.9.1 here, and then you can check the history of any particular version or revision also from kubectl. And of course you can do all this from console also here. So if I go back, I think it was not updated, so let's go and check history. So you can see the same information available here as well. So the summary of 1.7.9, 1.9.1, so all this is available from console, and it's also available from command line as well. Now next, what we are going to do, we are going to deploy a service, because we have deployed deployment, like the pods are available, but we cannot reach them, or they are not exposed. So let's expose them using a service, and for that I already have a YAML. So let me show you that. I prepared this YAML because I didn't want it to waste time to write them. So if I do cat services.yaml, so this is also very simple YAML file. So again, API version, and the kind is service, and it's nginx based, and the load balancer type. So this is the type of my service. As you remember, in the first tutorial video, we saw there are 3 types of services you can create, that is cluster IP, node port, and load balancer. So I am going to choose load balancer here, because it will expose it to external services, and then the selector is app nginx. If you remember in our deployment, so let's see that as well. So deployment nginx deployment YAML. So if here we have given an app level as nginx, and we are targeting the same selector here. So we are putting app nginx. So whichever pod is having this label as app nginx will be targeted by this service, and then we will be able to expose those pods to external. So it is going to load balance between them, and then from there we will be able to see that. So now let's apply that. Before that, if I do kubectl get services So currently we should not have anything. So there is a default service, that is Kubernetes default cluster IP based service is created. So other than that we have nothing. So we are going to create our own. So we will say kubectl apply -f /services nginx YAML, and it's going to apply that and create a service for us. So now if I do kubectl get service, so now there is a nginx based load balancer type service is created, and this external IP it takes some time to be assigned, because it's a IP which is exposable, and it Google Cloud will take some time to give it, but it's not that long. If we check it in some time, it should be there. So let's hold on, and once it is there, we will continue this lab further. So now the external IP is created. So what it is doing, it has exposed our pods on this IP and this port for that service, and it is connecting to these port of our pods. So it is fetching them directly. So Kubernetes is helping it to get that dynamic port. And so if we go and check, let me copy this IP, and if I go and do http:// and then I think it's 4. So here is welcome to nginx. So this is how we are able to expose our pods to external world. So this is this service is created, and it's load balancing between 3 different ports. Now as a next step, let's see how to perform a canary deployment. So basically a canary deployment is a separate deployment used to test a new version of your application. A single service targets both the canary and the normal deployment, and it can direct a subset of users to the canary version to mitigate the risk of new release. So basically when you have a new release and you do not want to expose it to all your customers or users, so you can create a canary version of it and then release it to a subset of users, so that you can test and check if it's working fine, and if it works fine, then you will be switching all your traffic to your newer version. Otherwise you will roll it back all the users to old version. So let's see how we can do that. And to do that, again to save some time, I have a YAML file created. So let's check that. So it is nginx canary.yaml. So here you can see what I am doing. I'm creating a deployment which is nginx canary, and in that I'm using the new version 1.9.1. so in previous one we have deployed 1.7.9 I think, and then in the new one, the canary version, we are deploying 1.9.1. so again let's apply this and create new pods. So again kubectl apply -f nginx canary, and then it is going to create new deployment. And if I do kubectl get deployments, so you will be able to see that we have 3 of 3 nginx deployment and one of nginx canary. So now by default Kubernetes does 50-50 split of your load. If you are the service, it will switch to that, but here what we have done, we are only deploying one. So it's again like out of every 4 requests, 1 request will go to this nginx canary. And if you want to have more sophisticated control over the load balancing, then you have to use service mesh. So in future videos we are going to check into Istio service mesh and see again how this nginx canary works, and we will see how to control it more granularly, and see if we want to split only 10% and 90% or 5% or 95% kind of deployment we want to do, we will have to use service mesh. So that capability is not by default available in Kubernetes. It will do a 50-50 load balancing. The service will do 50-50 load balancing. So if I go back, and currently nothing much has changed. It's still pointing me to the same pods, the service. So what we have to do, let's do scale down our deployments. That's the base deployment, this Nginx deployment. So what I have done, I have made replicas to 0, and if I go and get deployment, so now there are no replicas. And if I go back and refresh this, so now still I am able to see this page is being served, and this is coming from the Canary version. So of course it is the default page which is coming, so we do not have any visual support here to tell from where it is coming. But since our original deployment is not there, only Canary is working, so we can safely assume that it is coming from that Canary version. And if I just go ahead and downscale Canary as well, so let's see deployment. So nothing is running, and if I go back, and it's going to go away. So now nothing is running, so that's why we are not getting any response back. So now we can safely assume that it is coming from Canary only. Now there is one more thing to keep in mind. There is something called session affinity. So let me scale them up again. So let's make this as 1, and also let's scale Nginx deployment to 3. So now what is happening is we have so now what is happening is we have two different versions of our deployment running. One is Canary and one is deployment. And if I go back and if I make a request, so let's suppose it's not as simple as just an Nginx service running. We have two different versions of our deployment or pods running, and we do not want a user once who is connected to one deployment should not be switched back and forth between some other deployment. So that is what we can achieve by using session affinity. So to do that, if we go back to our manifest of service, so let me open that. So right now here you see in the spec we have type load balancer. So in the spec there is something called session affinity, and you can give client IP as session affinity. So that will look something like this. So you will create a service and give it the name, and along with the type of load balancer you have to provide session affinity. So what will happen with this, so every time a request is received by the service, it will check the IP and it will keep the record of that client IP, and every request will be forwarded to the same end service or end pod. So every time it will just select the same pod, and so your request will only be served by one version of your deployment. So it will not switch back and forth, and you can use this session affinity to do that. So today's lab is till this point, and we will further go in more details. So I'll see you in next one. Thank you so much.